At the year-end party, my sister said. They're suspended until they apologize to my partner. Perry Fashion's supply chain relies on 2-year-old Anita Perry. Anita apologized to my boyfriend, our sales director, for criticizing his campaign on demand at our year-end party in Scottsdale, with 150 employees hearing my sister, the CEO, speak. I called him out for his bungled internet sale, which nearly cost us our biggest clientele. I refused to apologize. Eyes narrowed. Her voice broke through the crowd. You're suspended until you do. My folks smiled beside her. Together, they said, know your place. The room laughed as her allies supported her. My gut twisted. But I persisted. Everyone watched me expecting tears or surrender. Instead, I looked at her, Juk Thoi. I kept my voice steady and headed out. I heard whispering among the crowd, not looking back. Sister felt she'd humiliated me and our family enterprise. Parent assumed I'd crawl back. They erred. Not quite finished. I constructed the system that kept this company alive. Something they'd never see was coming. You know this sting if your blood betrayed you. Did your family turn on you? Share your tale in the comments. Please like if you agree. Stay tuned, this is only the start. 5 years ago, I worked hard to grow Perry Fashions from one store. At 27, Anita Perry envisioned a family empire in Scottsdale's competitive retail market. 4 years older, my sister Rosetta Perry became CEO. She had a tremendous ambition that cut through hurdles, yet favored flatterers. We competed with national brands thanks to my online ordering system. It managed inventories, expedited shipping, and retained consumers. That system was my blood and sweat from long nights to make our name matter. Rosetta thought about fame, not employment. She liked making final decisions even with my help. Our parents, Doris and Paul Perry, controlled the finances. Mom and Dad valued profits over process and loved my sister's closing skills. They nodded at my reports but praised her presentations. I thought we were a team. Therefore, I didn't mind. Then her boyfriend Jonah Boyd entered. He wasn't ready for sales director. Yet she hired him. He was charming but lacked retail logistical knowledge. His appointment was about her heart, not skill. Nellie Scott, my helper since our first store, supported me. She was intelligent, devoted, and detected my mistakes. Early on, Nellie told me that Jonah's showy ideas would overwhelm my systems. I ignored it, believing family. But cracks appeared. Rosetta started ignoring me in meetings. Her boyfriend pitched half-baked concepts that ignored my data. Parents backed them for quick wins. My role dwindling in my empire confined me. Deeper growth made me feel a difference. Rosetta favored her tight circle. But Jonah tipped the scales. He'd enter my office and make similar proposals, then claim them as his. I was losing my voice after years of improving our supply chain. Nellie saw it too, her subtle eyes encouraging me to resist. I wasn't ready. My head was down, refining the system to ensure orders went smoothly. But every ignored email and sidelined suggestion squeezed my chest. My sister led and reshaped our heritage to her vision. He gained unrestrained confidence from Jonah. He pitched ambitious growth campaigns while I struggled to implement them. Rosetta's trust blinded her to his flaws. Parents captivated by his charisma questioned my tactics. Why can't you emulate him? Dad requested a harsh tone. Though I swallowed my reply, the sting lingered. After her deep voice, Nellie caught me. Don't let them forget Anita's absence. Her words lit up the fog. I noticed patterns. Jonah advised my sister, even when it hurt our business. She ignored my overstocking warnings, believing his gut over my numbers. Parents nodded in faith in her absolute. I wasn't invisible but expendable. We survived with my system, but I felt like a decoration. I wondered if I'd become a ghost in my dream as I walked through our flagship shop racks full of designs we struggled to launch. My allegiance was tested by that strain. Jonah's elevation, Rosetta's bias, and my parents' dismissal eroded my trust in Perry Fashions and the family we'd promised. Nellie was my rock. She double-checked my reports and reminded me I wasn't alone. I felt the walls closing in. My sister's ambition and boyfriend's opportunism were threats, not obstacles. I'd established this empire but was losing my place. Rosetta gave Jonah my supply chain project, and I felt queasy. I spent years improving Perry Fashion's logistics to deliver every outfit on schedule, blind to my expertise. My sister let her lover rule. He was unqualified, but she didn't care. Project was my guide, mapped every route, warehouse, and delivery timetable to save millions. I confided in her, expecting cooperation. She presented it to him as a trophy. Jonah walked into the quarterly review boardroom claiming my plan. I've streamlined our supply chain. He grinned. Data, calculations, and language were on the slides. Clapping first. Rosetta smiled. Mom and Dad applauded loudly. Well done. Dad targeted Jonah, sitting frozen. My notes were useless. My sister ignored me. I burned inside while the board nodded impressed. He stole my labor, which they ate. I couldn't be silent. Those are my methods. I spoke steadily, yet sharply. I planned every move. Room quieted. Jonah's smile returned quickly. Anita provided details he lied about, dismissing me. Rosetta intervened. This is about results. Anita. Not credit. She spoke definitively. Loyalty evident. Mom leaned forward. You should collaborate, not compete. She chastised. Dad nods. Support the team. I opened my mouth but was silenced. My complaint was buried. Lost my role. After the meeting, I roamed my office repeating their remarks. Face tense. Nellie slipped. He wants greater control, she muttered. I overheard him discussing leading all important initiatives. My aid warning hit hard. Jonah was positioning himself to overshadow me, not simply taking credit. He was using my competitive system as a stepping stone. Nellie's loyalty anchored me, but uncertainty crept in. Rosetta complicit or naive, it felt like he betrayed her. I examined Jonah's implementation for weaknesses. He called my plan shoddy routes. Delivery timings were delayed by understaffed, overlapped warehouses. Rosetta ignored my warnings regarding these concerns. Orders were delayed and customers complained. I emailed her a report listing all errors. Her response was abrupt. Jonah's in charge. No debate. Not acknowledged. Mom and Dad always supported her. Mom dismissively commented over dinner. Trust your sister's judgment. Dad spoke. Learn from his vision. Their words hurt. Their trust in me gone. Nellie kept me sane, gathering data to prove my position, showing me the original. She stated, your plan was great. This guy cuts corners. Rosetta ignored her clear evidence. I told my sister about the delays and consumer complaints in her office. Jonah's faults. I said, citing figures. Little did she look up. She snapped. Stop undermining him. Family-owned enterprise. Pretend it. Her remarks were a wall. Not merely critic. She wasn't leading. He was protected by her. That night I couldn't sleep. Now Jonah's goal was clear. His charm masked opportunism. He rewrote my place in Perry Fashions. Not just took credit. He wanted power and Rosetta was enabling him. Nellie warned. My sister's devotion was suspect. Did she know he'd use my work? Was she picking him over me? I believed she valued our dream. But her actions proved otherwise. Mom and Dad's blind support worsened the wound. They considered me the backup, and her the star. I followed Jonah's movements. He pitched ideas in meetings using my systems but never addressed me. Rosetta helped her praise lavishly. Her confidence won over the board, who supported his suggestions. His promises captivated my parents, who encouraged me to follow suit. Step up, I created their base. Low-voiced Nellie caught me after one meeting. "He won't stop," she said. "You must safeguard your property, not only advise." Her words woke me up. Jonah was a threat, not a coworker. And the knowledge hit hard. His ascension was about power, not ego. Rosetta was complicit by ignoring it. I'd worked hard for Perry Fashions, but my sister's bias was destroying me. More than credit. I fought for my spot. Confusion became clarity. I lost faith in her. Our family business was crumbling, and I was excluded. Jonah's glitzy web campaign was doomed. He offered it as Perry Fashion's ticket to Scottsdale's retail dominance and record sales. Despite my cautions, my sister believed his scheme. I analyzed his forecasts and found they ignored warehousing and shipping boundaries. Rosetta denied me her whole trust in her partner. The campaign began with fanfare advertising on all platforms. Customer orders flooded the system, buckling it. Overcrowded warehouses hindered shipments and swamped my inbox with complaints. Jonah misjudged demand, limiting staff and space. Big chain stores that trusted us threatened to cancel contracts. Running on caffeine and adrenaline tired me. My aide Nellie helped me reroute deliveries and calm, furious customers. We managed spreadsheets and calls 24/7 to avoid pandemonium. My homegrown system was our only hope. Automation prevents total collapse. Rosetta didn't care. She was preoccupied with press releases praising Jonah's vision. He gave interviews touting the campaign's success, ignoring my disaster. Nellie and I stabilized warehouses by rerouting stock for priority orders. The critical accounts were saved at great expense. Smaller clients left as overtime pay rose. My sister received a thorough report on fixes and losses. "Anita," she replied with one line, "without thanks." No recognition. Parents were terrible. They ripped me apart at a stressful family dinner. "Why wasn't inventory better managed?" Mom demanded her ear-piercing fork. Dad piled on. "This is yours." Anita, bad leadership, looked incredulous. I saved their firm while Jonah's mistake nearly sank us. Nellie's modest workplace presence grounded me, and her updates were exact. She stated we did it one night by presenting me an updated shipping log. But they just ignored it. Her remarks infuriated me. Late one night was the breaking point. I adjusted online ordering algorithms to avoid additional overflow. I found an old confidentiality agreement in the code. It was a precaution when I created the system from scratch. The conditions said that I could lock the platform and stop operations if wrongly terminated. My heart raced. This was power. Not technicalities. I kept it a secret. A bright spot in my fatigue. Rosetta called a staff meeting the next day with her lover. They told the crew about the campaign's record orders. No mention of my fixes or the near disaster. I tightened my jaw at Nellie's warning. I could tell my sister was proud of Jonah's leadership in her speech. Front row parents nodded in approval. It seemed like my work was erased again. Rosetta cut me off when I mentioned client losses. She snapped. "Solutions, not problems." My voice faded as the room moved. "After." Nellie pulled me aside. "They're altering the story," she said urgently. "You saved us. Yet he gets the crown." Her remarks hurt, but the contract's findings shone. Still didn't inform her. The clause was my leverage to retrieve what was mine. Focusing on work hid my excitement. Jonah's blunders piled up his next proposal on Rosetta's desk. I cautioned her again, using staffing shortage facts. She disregarded me. Believing in him, Mom and Dad kept criticizing. Dad cornered me at work. "You're not contributing," he replied softly. "Jonah leads the team." Biting back, I replied, "Contracts are quiet shields." Nellie narrowed her eyes at my shift. She half asked, "You're planning something?" I avoided her unwillingness to share. The clause was a possibility, not a strategy. I kept laboring to keep the system running and my secret safe. The campaign's aftermath persisted. Smaller clients left and staff morale dropped. I promised better methods and took their complaints. Nellie and I cut losses by streamlining operations. Rosetta didn't care. She planned Jonah's next big date, the year-end party. I supported the family since her confidence dazzled my parents. They survived the storm with my help. I remembered the contract clause as a promise. I prepared to defend myself and parry fashions. Holiday lights couldn't cover the year-end party's tension. About 150 employees filled Perry Fashion's Scottsdale ballroom. They talked to hide their uneasiness. I stood near the bar, stomach tense, sensing trouble. Rosetta, my sister, was absent all week. Jonah, her boyfriend, clung to her. The campaign's aftermath persisted. Warehouses barely recovering clients were wary but untouchable. Mom and Dad mixed their smiles for her. Not me. My assistant Nellie nodded as she caught my sight from across the room. Rosetta spoke authoritatively on stage. "Tonight we honor our fortitude." She lauded Jonah's courageous leadership. Though the throng clapped, the room spun. His campaign nearly ruined us. But I saved us. No mention of me. She fixed her focus on me. Her tone was stern as Anita stepped nearer. Whispers spread. My steps to the stage were heavy, knowing this wasn't praise. "She was efficient. She said you criticized Jonah's campaign." "Hurting our team." Publicly apologized to him. Room went quiet. Jonah stood beside her, confidently smiling. Looked incredulous. "Apologize," I spoke clearly. "His mistakes filled our warehouses, cost us contracts, and nearly sank us." I fixed. The crowd gasped. Rosetta's flushed cheeks showed her losing control. "You're out of line," she snapped. "Sorry or done." I weighed every betrayal on her gaze. Her prejudices, his theft, their dismissal, crashing. "I won't," I said, unwavering. Her eyes burned. "Your suspension begins immediately." Her words cut the room. The nearby parents laughed harshly. "Know your spot," they spoke together. Sneering. The throng cheered and whispered. My sister's chin raised in satisfaction as Jonah's grin broadened. They scorned me, yet didn't break me. "Juk Thoy," I spoke steadily through the noise. They didn't understand the promise in the words. I left the stage. The throng dispersing. They laughed. But I kept my cool. I constructed Perry Fashion's life-sustaining mechanism and held the key. The code-buried confidentiality clause was my leverage. Rosetta believed she'd won but set off the fuse. Outside, the night air was crisp and cold. I texted Nellie to meet me tomorrow. "We must talk." Her response was quick. "I'm with you." I relied on my assistant's devotion and confidence. I haven't explained the plan. If I was fired wrongly, the provision I identified may lock the ordering system. That wasn't revenge. It was fair. Rosetta's power nipped Jonah's opportunism, and my parents' treachery drove me too far. They'd quickly realize the system would collapse without me. The party continued indoors, unaware of the storm, not looking back. My sister's public humiliation was meant to shatter me. but it strengthened me. I was inspired by my parents' thoughts about your place. They saw me as a cog in their empire. But I'd prove I was the foundation. Nellie's contribution was vital. She was my sole ally with system back-end access. For preparation, I trusted her to preserve my secret. This provision was my way out. Not a technicality. I'd embedded it years earlier to prevent betrayal. It became my weapon. My immediate suspension by Rosetta contributed to it. Unfair termination, she gave me the trigger. I wouldn't rush. To clean every step. I needed Nellie. System failure would hurt orders. Revenue froze for frozen clients. They begged me to mend things. But I had terms. Driving home. My mind raced. Party laughing. Rosetta's rage. Jonah's grin. They thought they'd crushed me. They erred. Perry fashions took years to construct. And I put my heart into every line of code and delivery route. Because they took it for granted. I lost value. Now I could remind them. Another buzzing Nellie message. 8 a.m. Tomorrow. Regular place. I smiled my first hope in weeks. The battle was just beginning. Perry Fashions was turmoil at sunrise as orders froze on every screen. The web technology that powered our Scottsdale retail business was dead. Warehouses were silent. Delivery slowed. And customers complained. Office workers panicked in the open plan. Not there to see it. Sipping coffee at home. My phone humming with Nellie's updates. My assistant met me at morning with her laptop open. Confirming the confidentiality clause. As expected. The system was locked. Floyd Harris, our IT manager, alerted us first, his voice shaking. He entered Rosetta's office. The platform is down. Therefore I can't enter. His forehead sweated. My normally calm sister paled. She looked to her boyfriend Jonah for solutions. His charm failed against a technological blackout. Try restarting. Unsure. He stammered. Floyd shook his head. Definitely not a glitch. Locked. Someone with admin rights did this. Rosetta squinted her eyes but didn't say my name. Office chaos ensued. Staff clustered around monitors, reloading screens unsuccessfully. Orders threatened millions in revenue, our biggest clients. Rattled by Jonah's failed campaign. Vowed to leave. Paul and Doris. My parents stormed. Their confidence replaced by rage. Make this right now. Floyd threw up his hands as Mom yelled. The keys are missing. Saying frustrated. Dad activated Rosetta. Do something. CEO. She blamed Jonah's oversight. Their fighting revealed a rare split in their unity. Nellie texted me from a pandemonium corner. They're losing. Nobody suspects you. I smiled. It determined. Years ago. I added a betrayal clause that worked brilliantly. If I improperly ended a legitimate move, I may lock the system. Nellie helped me activate it after the party to hide. Assistant commitment was unwavering. Her technical skills kept the shutdown a secret. Rosetta ordered an emergency meeting over the speakerphone. After losing his confidence, Jonah sat next her. Floyd reported little progress. His team shut out every database. Parents' crimson faces sought answers. Who has admin rights? Dad growled. Floyd paused. Only Anita and her helper. He said, room quieted. Rosetta knew her jaw constricted. Jonah deflected. Maybe a hacker. He said faintly. No one bought it. The reality was approaching. Our corporate lawyer, Beulah Carter, was called. She brought many contracts in her briefcase. Rosetta demanded a workaround with system documentation. Beulah flicked through the pages. Glum. A confidentiality clause applies. She spoke calmly yet firmly. When building the platform, Anita embedded it. She can legally lock access if fired wrongly. Suspension without cause counts. Rosetta saw incredulity turn to fury. It was planned, she said. Beulah nodded. Solid. She's within her rights. Desperation followed panic. Rosetta dialed me on her phone, savoring the moment. I let it ring. She pleaded and raged when I replied. The requested system was opened by Anita, killing the firm. I maintained a calm voice. I'll think about it. Schedule a board meeting. We'll discuss solutions. She sputtered, unaccustomed to bargaining. This is blackmail. She fumed. I didn't react. I said business and hung up. Nellie's next text verified at tomorrow's board meeting. Office paralysis persisted. Customer concerns trended online. Shipments stopped due to delinquent suppliers. Jonah suggested stopgap remedies, manual orders, and paper logs to preserve face. Staff was overwhelmed by their astonishing failure. Parents blamed each other more. He was trusted. Mum accused Dad of pointing at Jonah. You expelled her. Dad glared at Rosetta. Their empire, based on my system, was unraveling, and they had no one except me. My lifeline was Nellie's updates. Staff are urged to stay calm. But it's chaos. I trusted her secrecy. Her role in shutdown is secret. Beulah's legal approval of the clause shielded me from all harm. Rosetta's call was her first surrender. But I continued. The board meeting would be my chance to regain what was mine. Perry Fashion's foundation's exact cost was revealed after I created it. Crisis deepened during night. Customers vented on social media as the company's stock fell. Stuck were Rosetta, Jonah, and my parents. It broke their confidence. At my desk, I reviewed the clause's specifics to prepare my terms. The final Nellie message arrived. They're afraid. Anita, you got them. Nodding cleared my path. I held the key to the boardroom's decisions. I entered the boardroom calm for the first time in years. The large mahogany table with strained faces had dense air. Rosetta, my sister, sat at the head. Sleepless and bloodshot, the lover. Jonah sank alongside her, losing his confidence. Mom and Dad, deflated, avoided me. Emmett Walsh and Aidan Guyen, board members who discreetly supported me, nodded as I arrived. Nellie was my assistant's silent anchor by the door. The system lockdown had crippled Perry Fashions, and I held the key. Rosetta began with a hoarse voice. Access the system. Anita, her hands full of consumer complaints. She urged. Your point is made. My expression remained steady as I leaned back. I developed this company's foundation. But you fired me. Her jaw tensed. But she said nothing, muttering. Jonah shifted. Sabotage. He turned to the board. But I ignored him. Have terms. Their quiet was broken by my voice. Sharp-eyed retail veteran Emmett leaned forward. Let's listen. He spoke neutrally but curiously. Financial strategist Ada nodded over a notepad. They were fed up with Rosetta's favoritism and Jonah's failures, whispering support to Nellie weeks earlier. My demands were stated. Jonah is fired instantly. His incompetence cost us millions. The room froze. Jonah blushed. You can't. He sputtered. Hand reared by Emmett. The board can, he looked at Rosetta. Sister's hands shook. She insisted he was a plus, but sounded hesitant. I persisted. Second, Rosetta resigns as CEO. She advises. Lacking voting rights. No control. Gashes echoed. Mom shrieked. You destroyed this family, Dad joined her. This is our legacy. I faced their gaze. You picked her over me. I said, you deleted my work. Saving what I built. Ada wrote notes indistinctly but attentively. Jonah desperately interrupted him. Innovation came from me. Slipping a document across the table. I stopped him. Your advertising lost us major clients. Nellie's data charts, showing client cancellation staff losses, were cited. You stole my ideas, botched the implementation, and grabbed credit. Emmett frowned as he skimmed the folder. Ada's pen kit. Rosetta's Jonah defense collapsed under proof. Attorney Beulah Carter entered with a secrecy provision. Anita's lockout is legal. She affirmed her straightforwardness. Wrongful suspension caused it. The board can restore her or lose money. Rosetta looked to her parents for assistance. But they were mute. Losing their confidence, Emmett spoke firmly. The company's bleeding financials were analyzed. Anita's system is indispensable. Ada nods. Her terms are fair given mismanagement. Voting was fast. Emmett and Ada outnumbered Rosetta's supporters in support of my demands. Beulah fired Jonah with a termination letter. He slammed the door behind him. Fury and embarrassment on his face. Rosetta sank in her chair. The rain of tears stopped over Perry Fashions. You've ruined everything, she whispered. But I didn't care. She picked him over my company. Mom and Dad watched their legacy fade. How could you, Mom? Choked. But I persisted. Know my place. You said. I spoke steadily. Finished. Dad looked away. Silently admitting defeat. Perry Fashion's board took my final demand. Emmett recommended a new management team with me as transition manager. You've shown your worth, he said. Ada agreed. The firm requires stability. I accepted but agreed to step back after the team was formed. Orders resumed within hours after system unlocking. I gave Nellie the interim tech team leadership for her loyalty. A seasoned outsider without family drama was appointed CEO by the board. As an advisor, Rosetta left the room silent. Broken. Parents followed their influence. My beloved company was safe but no longer home. Some office workers nodded respectfully. Some warily as I passed. With bright eyes, Nellie caught up. She said quietly. You did it. A slight smile. Correction. We did it. The victory was mine, but empty. Reclaiming my worth cost my family. I prepared to leave Perry Fashions. I could shape the future without their shadow. I made the hardest decision by leaving my family. I terminated all relations with Rosetta's parents after the boardroom fight. No calls. Apologies. Or reconciliation. Their betrayal and years of ignoring my contributions in favor of my sister's boyfriend created significant scars. Without their involvement, Perry Fashions thrived under new management. I was ready to create my future somewhere. Malcolm Reed, a successful entrepreneur I met through industry contacts, was my partner. His bright mind and deep pockets complemented my vision. Our Scottsdale-focused luxury fashion business, Luxe Thread, was founded. We launched our first collection in 3 months with a modern workplace and a small workforce. Perry Fashions is diminishing. Yet our bold, sustainable, distinctive designs attracted customers. Malcolm managed investors while I ran operations with greater system-building skills. Luxe Thread was my salvation. Not simply a corporation. Healing took time. I struggled with my family's rejection. But my close buddy Virgil Cox comforted me. His calm humor and late-night chats restored my joy. Talking on Scottsdale's desert paths. We envisioned a life without pain. Virgil never pushed. But his faith in me brought delicate but real happiness. I was rebuilding. Not simply surviving. Rosetta fell sharply. She had no say in Perry Fashion's meetings as an advisor. Her once deferential colleagues now ignored her whispers. Her commitment to Jonah cost her credibility. And the industry noticed. She became irrelevant as a CEO shadow. Jonah suffered. His reputation for stolen ideas and failed marketing collapsed. His Scottsdale applications went unanswered. He told a cautionary tale of empty ambition. Parents isolated themselves as their empire ran without them. Through Nellie, my old assistant, I learned they lived quietly with remorse. I ignored their letters begging for forgiveness. Their comments "know your place" reminded me of their stance against me. Their daughter was gone, and no apologies could fix that. Lux Thread succeeded because, to my perseverance, our second collection sold out. Attracting major shops, Malcolm and I considered markets beyond Arizona for expansion. Nellie joined us to shape our website using IT skills. She thrived without Perry Fashion's disarray. Virgil supported me and celebrated each milestone with pride, no longer dependent on family acceptance. I stood taller. I watched how their betrayal strengthened me at the end. I founded Perry Fashions but saw greed pervert it. Liberation came with leaving. I learned to believe in myself, to resist detractors. My business respected me as Anita, the woman who converted grief into power. Not Perry. My story has truth to convey. Independence is hard-won, but vital. Do not compromise for traitors, family or not. When others doubt you, believe in yourself. I left a legacy to construct my own, and would again. Scars remind me of who I am, a woman who chose herself and never looked back.